Welcome to the HawkCast with your host, AJ Hawk.
All right, honored to have Kliff Kingsbury right now on, but Kliff, he's a coach at Texas Tech at the moment, going into his fourth season. And I don't know if you remember this game or not, but my very first college game of my life, 2002, was against Texas Tech with the Heisman candidate, Kliff Kingsbury, playing quarterback.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was one of the longest days of my life. Y'all were awesome defensively. And then a young running back named Maurice Claret had a little bit of a coming out party. I think he went for about 300 on us. But unbelievable atmosphere. Obviously, the horseshoe is incredible. But, yeah, y'all had a hell of a team.
So that was your senior season at Texas Tech, and you were kind of were you the first real quarterback at Tech to put up those monster numbers?
I was Mike Leach's first quarterback here. Previous to that, it was more of a run-based tight end offense, and so he came in throwing it around, and I was the first one. And we kind of built to that point. First 2 years, a little rough. That third year, we got things rolling offensively. And they had us play y'all first game. Then we played Phillip Rivers, NC State, and then we played Eli and Ole Miss. So it was not an easy preseason schedule, but we had a pretty good team.
What was your record that year?
We ended up 9-5. We beat Clemson in the Tangerine Bowl, and y'all's game was like a kickoff classic, so it was an extra game. So we had 13 regular season in the bowl game.
All right, I think the game was played like in August. When I looked back at the schedule just to make sure, I think it was like August 24th, the Pigskin Classic.
Yeah, it kicked it off, and it was. I just remember the stadium was awesome. And I remember leaving the game like those cats were really, really good. And then y'all went what, 13-0?
Yeah, and then 14-0 in the bowl game to beat Miami.
Yeah,
Maurice Claret. That was his coming out party. So I was in the same recruiting class as Maurice, who I've had him here on the podcast as well, and we talked about that. I think that game they started chanting his name like Maurice. It was like the Coliseum when old boy Russell Crowe steps in.
He looked like Walter Payton, man. Unbelievable.
Was Wes with you at the time at Tech? Welker?
He was, yeah, he was. I think he caught a touchdown late. It was like a mop-up touchdown. I think he caught a touchdown in that game. But he was a heck of a player. He was a year younger than me, and had a heck of a career.
So you played 2 years for Mike Leach?
Three. Yeah.
Now, where is he coaching right now?
At Washington State.
Can you give us any insight, like what that dude is like? Because he seems like the weirdest, most unique college football coach I've ever seen.
He is, man. You talk about so much else other than football. It's insane what he covers, the topics he covers, and he's brilliant. So he has a genius personality, and he's always thinking about other stuff. So you're watching film, and here comes the tangent about politics or pirates or Howard Stern show, and it's just unbelievable. And he's really good buddies with Donald Trump. So you should try to get him on the podcast and have him go off about why Donald Trump would be the best president in the history of America.
Oh, God. You think he'd be willing to come on?
Yeah, I know he'd be willing.
All right.
If you give that man an hour to talk, he will eat it up.
Oh, Wes, no joke, man. I'm going to be sending you a text trying to get Mike Leach's contact info. I will reach out to him today.
Be good.
I used to talk to Graham Harrell about Mike Leach all the time. So Graham's locker was next to mine in Green Bay for a couple of years, and Graham is another unique individual.
Yeah.
And I know you know him well. He's calling plays, North Texas?
North Texas, yeah. He'll be really good, man. He's a sharp kid. His dad was a great high school coach. He was a high school legend. Their program was really legendary because they came up throwing it all around, and they didn't always have the best players, but they just lit it up. Then he came here and lit it up, had a nice little run there with y'all in Green Bay, and so I think he'll be a phenomenal coach.
Yeah, he's calling the plays?
Yeah, he's the OC.
So I always wondered this about calling the plays. Like, as an offensive play caller, are you still calling the plays as the head coach at Tech?
I am, yeah. That's the fun part to me. If I ever don't call the plays and just kind of CEO it, that would not be a lot of fun, I don't think.
So you don't think – you can't see yourself stepping down from that?
Unless they make me.
Who could make you, though? Who could make you?
I mean, maybe one day. We're pretty good on offense. So, but maybe one day I want to get better at the other stuff. Because, when you take from something, it probably lessens it. So I probably take some time from some of the administrative stuff. I could be good at and work on the offense. But as of now, man, I just love the X's and O's, love being on the field, coaching the quarterbacks, working that part of it.
Does it take away, though, from like the overall, I don't know, like the structure of practice? Because I know as a head coach, it seems like a lot of times you're just the guy that, or some head coaches take the role as the guy that sets the script together, says how many periods practice is going to be, and tells you guys what time the staff meeting is.
Right. No, I think I could probably be better at some of that. You know, you look at like Urban Meyer there at Ohio State and all the motivational stuff he's doing and the sports psych stuff, and he has a heavy hand in all of that. You know, we may miss on a little bit of that because I'm so heavily involved with the offense, but we're good on offense, and so I enjoy that aspect of it, and I think it's best for our program right now.
Do you ever let like emotions come into play when you're calling plays in a game?
There were a couple times early on where it was kind of like the tin cup moment where, you know, it didn't work. But you're like, dude, he was wide open. That's just got to work. And you call it again and they miss it again. And you're like, dude, I'm just going to keep calling it and we're going to make it happen. So yeah, early on, I just kind of pull some of that. And now I try to just separate that high emotion reactionary stuff to just, let's go down the script. We got it marked for a reason and let's go.
That's something I paid attention to as I got older in the league was, I guess, not as much defensive. If you're calling the defense, I don't know, it's kind of see how they're trying to attack you and how you want to attack them, bam, and you do it. But as an offensive coach, I've watched it all over the league. I'll try to watch like the offensive coordinators or whoever's calling the plays. I know Coach McCarthy tried to step down in Green Bay last year. He got like 6 or 7 games. I think he probably went crazy and he took the reins back. And I always wonder with him, I give him credit because he's such an emotional dude and he's just a Pittsburgh tough dude, just a tough guy that wants to ram it down the throat and run the ball 60 times a game. But he's got the best quarterback on the planet in Aaron Rodgers right there. So he finds a way to make it work. And I always wonder like how he keeps his emotions out of his play calling.
Yeah. I think it's not easy. I always thought like for a defense coordinator, it'd be harder because I would just go like cover zero blitz. Anytime I got pissed or they made a play, I would just, hey, let's go hit the quarterback. We're going to hit somebody on this play. So offensively, I think you kind of know what you want to do. You have it set up on your script. You just try to stick to it. But I had Mike when I was with the Saints in '04, he was the OC there. And so I was always impressed by his preparation in the game plan meetings, the run game, the pass game. So you knew he was going to be a head coach soon, and it's cool to see his success. As you know, he's a great guy, real humble guy. So it's been fun to watch him.
Do you, like in the spring or summer, do you go visit NFL teams at all to try to pick the coach's brains?
Yeah, I do. I actually went up to Green Bay, I guess it was 3 years ago, for a spring. And this past spring, I went to Denver when I saw Coach Kubiak and just watched an OTA and sat with them for a day. And so it's good just to see how they do things. You know, it is different, as you know, than college. But there's cultural things you like to see, how they run their program, how they structure practice, some of the drill work they do. So I think it's very beneficial.
Do you guys feel hamstringed by like the NCAA rules where is it 20 hours a week you're supposed to have with the athletes?
Yeah, it is. It's 20. So I think it's going to get less and less, it sounds like. The athletes have a pretty big platform these days, as you know. So it sounds like they're wanting more time. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. They're getting more money, more food, more everything, and they want more free time to themselves, it sounds like. So we'll see where that goes.
Do you feel like it is, when you say they, do you feel separated from them as athletes now that you're the head coach, or do you still feel like there's a piece of you that is that guy?
Yeah, there definitely feels like a piece of me, but I think as you get older, and you'll see this, it is like our parents or grandparents did to us. Back in my day, we have this and that, and so I find myself like, yeah, y'all have it so good now. What are y'all complaining about? But no, I think at the same time, you do have that empathy for certain parts of their daily life.
Is there anything? Like, what's some of the coach speak you heard when you were a player that you just hated?
As a quarterback, the one that always got me was like, hey, just put it on them, like no kidding? Like I didn't try to miss the throw or like get it in front. Yeah, I know that the ball's supposed to go in front. I got that part. It was a bad throw. So I think just the overcoaching part of it, and I understand it because you have a head coach watching, you have people watching, so you got to feel like you're doing your job all the time. But I always try to not be the overcoach guy. I mean, if you miss a throw, I know you missed a throw, and I'll try not to say too much about it. But I think that's the biggest thing I try to avoid is just the overcoach stuff. You probably had those coaches.
Everybody.
They want to coach. Like, I got it. I know what I'm doing.
I think tell me what you think, but I believe when you overcoach is a form of insecurity sometimes.
Yeah, I do too. I think you're trying to prove yourself, not only the players, I guess, but to show all the coaches, hey, I'm coaching, I'm working hard. But I think, players see through that. I mean, they know when you're being real and when you're just kind of talking to talk. And so I think that can definitely work against you.
Yeah, the coaches that you can tell just always on there. Like the second the ball is snapped, they're like jogging into the drill, just running, just yelling random stuff. Oh, get back, open up. I'm like, and the play is over, and they just keep going and yelling. And then it's almost like they're looking over their shoulder, like looking at the head coach. You see me, coach? You see me coaching over here, right?
No, you don't want to be that coach.
How do you, as a head coach though, how do you hire guys that don't do that, or how do you make guys feel comfortable to not have to do that?
That's a great question. The hiring part is the hardest part, particularly being a younger coach. I didn't know many people in this profession when I got this job. So I had to really, branch out, try to meet people, go through interview process. We've had some coaches come and go. But when I got into coaching, I was fortunate enough to be with a couple of coaches that let me be myself. And I really believe that's why I had success at a young age, because they didn't make me dress a certain way or talk a certain way or coach a certain way. They allowed me to do things the way I do things and felt most comfortable. And so I try to give our coaches that autonomy to be themselves. And I think if you allow a person to be himself and you hire the right guy and you let all those true characteristics come out in that person, they're going to be successful.
Now, are you a guy that'll get on his coaches like publicly on the practice field or on the game field, or would you wait till you guys get into a staff meeting to really let them know if you were truly upset with them?
Yeah, I won't ever do it in front of our players. I think that kind of takes some swag from them, it kind of takes, because I remember as a player, if I saw a coach getting berated in front of me, it's kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah, you lose that little subtle amount of maybe not listen as much the next time he says something or yells at you because he was getting yelled at. So yeah, it's a closed door meeting with them. I think that's the best way to handle it. I think players respond better if you don't yell at your coaches. So that's kind of my policy.
Now, you've
seen some serious beratings by head coaches to position coaches throughout, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does. It like brings down, you're right, whether subconsciously or consciously as a player. I think even the young guys that don't really know what's going on, they'll see it and they're like, wait, this guy, my position coach has been killing me every single day and he's a huge dick and killing me in my mood. But then the head coach just made him look like a little baby.
Yeah. No, it knocks something off of him, some sort of shine off of him a little bit. There's no question. And I always felt that as a player. And so if I have an issue with a coach, I don't like how he's doing it, something, I'll either walk over to him, kind of walk away from everybody, like, hey, we got to change that up. We're not going to do it that way, or wait till after practice and then get them there.
When you said let guys be who they are or whatever, is it true? I know I've read that you have. Do you make the uniforms or have control of what you guys wear, like new designs?
Yeah, I just had in my contract that I wanted to be able to have full control over helmet design, any of that. Just I didn't want to be stuck with something that they were just shipping to us and where I wanted our players to like it. I wanted the recruits to like it. I wanted them to take pride in our uniforms. And as you know, these days with everything going on social media, all that stuff, it's a big deal. Those players like new flashy things. They like new looks. And so we try to stay on that side of things.
It's a huge deal, I think, that people don't realize, even way more now than ever. When I was coming up, I have a brother that's 2 years older than me. He played quarterback at Miami of Ohio, came in with Ben Roethlisberger, and he transferred to Ohio U and played 2 years there. But he played when he was at Miami, I believe. They played at Michigan, and he said they came out to warm-ups, And everybody on this team was like, man, look how tight their uniforms fit, man. They don't have these terrible baggy jerseys like us. I don't know what Miami was wearing at the time, if it was Russell Athletic or whatever, but it's true, man. You feel like a second-rate organization if you don't look the part.
There's no doubt. That's a big part of it. Feel good, play good. And with social media, all it gets blasted out. If you can put a cool helmet out or cool cleats out or cool uniform out, I mean, that goes a long way.
You guys are Under Armour?
We are. We're Under Armour. We're the only Power 5 school in the state of Texas that's Under Armour, which is cool. They've been great to us. They give us a bunch of different uniforms, different cleats, different helmets every year, and our players and recruits have really responded positively to that.
How's the whole recruiting been as a head coach compared to when you were position coach or coordinator?
It's just a lot more. Those months right after the season hits through signing day are intense. You're flying around, 2 or 3 flights a day, trying to get in 2 or 3 homes a night to meet with kids and parents and close deals. And so as a position coach, you may have a couple of in-home visits. As a head coach, you're at every one of them. So that's the biggest change. And then it's just constant feedback. Cats these days, the young cats on social media, you can text them, you can, send messages on Twitter, on Instagram, and they want to hear back from you, and they want to hear a lot. And so you never get away from it. Back in your day, in my day, it was one phone call. I mean, you remember that.
It was handwritten letters.
It was handwritten letters, and then you get that one phone call, and you didn't want to miss that call, and your mom hold it for you. And now it's just constant. I mean, you can talk to these kids all day, every day. So
there's no restriction on that?
Not a lot. There's what they call a dead period, but that doesn't. You can still do all the
Twitter and stuff,
Twitter exchange stuff. So yeah, you truly never get away from it.
That's terrible. That sucks. That's stupid. Like, how about they come up with some rules to give some coaches a minute?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the kids too. I'm like, this kid, those top guys, they're just getting massacred, man, all day, every day on instant, everything.
So let's say a coach, what's your Twitter name?
TTU Kingsbury.
So let's say a top recruit who has like narrowed down to 5 schools, and he sends a public tweet, not a DM, out to you and 4 other coaches. It's up to you guys to just, then all of a sudden you got to see, oh man, this 5-star just tweeted me. I got to get back to him. Yeah,
that's how you feel. There's that type of anxiety. Because if you don't, that one of those other 4 is going to hit them up. And then, that's going to have an effect. And they just passed a rule that now you can favorite anything they want. You can retweet anything they do. So it's about to be complete and utter madness.
You can't, I mean, that's not even real to me. That's so dumb.
It's intense, man.
I mean, I know it's different. I don't ever want to be like the old crotchety guy, like you said, like, back in my day.
Right.
And in one sense, there's a lot of things that are better than there was maybe 10 years ago in college, but a lot of things are worse though, man. They can't be a real college kid anymore. You can't go out to a bar. You can't hang out at a party because everyone, even if you're a 3rd string dude, they'll take a picture of you if you're doing a keg stand or something, and it's everywhere.
There's no doubt. I wouldn't have made it. I'm telling you, if I had like Tinder or Twitter or any of this Instagram, I would not have been good in school, and I wouldn't have been good in football because I'd have been caught up in all that stuff. I don't know how they do it. I mean, we get off, we travel to games, and they can't wait. That plane hits the runway, and their phones light up, and they're on Tinder in that, area, wherever, trying to figure out matches, and they're on their Instagram, they're on their Twitter, and it's insane. Kids taking pictures of themselves in the locker room before the game. We've had kids at halftime sneak in a phone, and you get a picture at half, and it's a different world, man. I'm glad we didn't have it. I would have not been successful.
I think more of, I don't know how I would have been lost up. I'm sure I would have been caught up in all of that, and just, I mean, the whole Tinder game. I've been married for a long time. I'm so happy I never got into the Tinder game, man.
I am too. I have friends, man. I'm telling you, that deal has changed their life. Negatively.
Oh my God, yeah. And then, well, it used to be the old, a little while back was Facebook. It would be breaking up marriages because guys and girls would find like their high school sweethearts that they thought they really liked them, and they would leave their spouses.
You're not supposed to have that access, man. I tell people all the time, you're not. So I'm never on any of that stuff because God did not intend for us to have that type of access across that many platforms, man. Unhealthy.
Do you
And
have
the other one that gets me while we're on social media is, if you and I played a bad game back in college, they may put a little article in the newspaper, or you may hear about it from, a local radio. But these poor kids, if they play a bad game, they get attacked on their social media platforms. And I don't know if I was secure enough to handle it back when I was a player, to have all these people come at me, your peers even, saying how bad you suck. We never had to experience any of that. And I feel for players in this day and age that they got to face all that after, you throw an interception, or you miss a tackle, or you miss a field goal. That's a lot as a young person to take on.
It is. Maybe I hope, like, for just because kids have grown up with it, it's almost like they don't look at it like we do. Like if we would have 100 people say good things and one people say a bad thing, like, where's this dude live? I'm finding this house. I'm gonna go kill this guy.
Exactly. We would have put that, etched it in the stone, put on the red lipstick, the Bill Nash stuff. Yeah.
Boy, am I glad I called that guy.
Yeah, that whole scenario. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think about it all the time, and maybe you're right. They're desensitized to it, and it doesn't faze them. But I'm glad I never had to face that as a young person.
Do you have to, like, how do you manage that with your players? Like you said, taking pictures on the team bus in the locker room. Do you have certain times when there's no phones allowed?
Yeah. I mean, there's time, meeting rooms and locker rooms. They don't have their phone in there. But there's times they'll sneak them in there and take one, and we'll catch them. We're like, dude, did you not think we were going to find your picture of you in your uniform on Twitter? But at the same time, I want them to enjoy life. I want them to have their personalities, show their personalities. So as long as they handle it like a grown-up, we treat them like a grown-up.
Do you have somebody on staff that pilfers through your teams, like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, to make sure they're not saying anything stupid, or if they do, you let them know? Yeah,
we do. And we'll ask them to take it down immediately. And we have fake accounts with cute girls that they add, right now. And so we can kind of see what's going on, who's tweeting what. But yeah, those are heavily monitored for sure.
So you got like undercover cops posing as girls.
Posing as cute co-eds, yes.
Now, the players know this, don't they?
I think they do, but they can't resist. They can't resist that.
Of course they can't. They got 5 million different 18, 19-year-old girls reaching out to them.
A friend request of the cute girl is an automatic follow. So,
do you guys ever like troll them with those fake accounts and ask them to send pics and see what their judgment's like?
We probably could get there, catfish them on that deal.
Yeah.
But no, we do about once a year though. We'll capture the most absurd posts that our team makes, and we have a big presentation. Have a lot of fun with it.
That's good, man. Look, you lean into it. You own it.
Yeah,
it's true. I don't know. It's weird. It is something I do feel bad about for the kids that have to deal with it. Although they have millions, the opportunities are endless for them when it comes to finding girls, whatever they want to do, or fun things to do. But at the same time, you're right. They got to deal with a lot of hate and a lot of stuff that we didn't have to.
No doubt. There's a lot of negativity on there. And even when they post things, they may post what they had for lunch and 3 dudes come at them on there. Like, that can't be good for your psyche. Because I know back, like you said, it took one dude to say anything and we were ready to fight back in the day. So it's a different day and age.
It is, man. So you're 36 years old?
I am.
Going into your 4th season as the head coach. How's being a head coach compared to what you thought it might be?
It's been good. It's a process. I think, we all want to win, like immediately win the national championship, and it's been a process. But going into year 4, I think our roster is about 95% of players we've recruited here. So the culture's in place now. They understand what we're trying to get at. So this last spring was the most fun, most comfortable I've felt here. But it's a process, man. You never know what all goes into this seat until you actually sit here.
Is it like being the president, where I envision if you become president, they have all these ideas, but they want to change the world or change the country, and then they get there and they pull the curtains back and they're like, whoa, I can't really – it's going to be tiny incremental changes.
Yes. Change happens very slowly. It does. And there's, at a public university, state school, there's a lot that goes into it. Any sort of change takes time and has to go through a bunch of different levels. And so it's been a process, but it's been worthwhile. I wouldn't change it. I'm glad I got to start at a young age and at my alma mater where they've been very patient. They've given me what I need to be successful and let me kind of build this thing the right way. And so I wouldn't change anything.
Why do you think a lot of college coaches that try to make the jump to the NFL can't seem to make it work?
That's a great question. I think there's just so much parity in the NFL. You know, it's as you know this, if you get one of the 10 top quarterbacks in the league, you got a chance to make the playoffs and make a run. And if you don't, you just don't. And I really think a lot of it comes down to that. I think you've been on a couple of different teams. It's kind of a cookie cutter deal. There's about 3 different defenses people run. And there's about 3 different offenses, West Coast, you know, whatever the Patriots run that a lot of people run. And so I think it all comes down to that, really. That'd be my answer. If you get a good quarterback, you're going to be very successful. If you don't, good luck.
It's refreshing to hear you say that because it's so true. Look at every single year, man. If you have an established stud quarterback, chances are you're probably going to the playoffs.
That's it. And you can look at who's been in the playoffs the last 10 years, and that's what it is. And they're hard to find. You know, once you get one, those teams don't trade them away. So they play there until they retire. And so you got to draft one, develop him, hang with him, you know, like everybody has, and then go from there.
You were a 6th round pick and you went to the Patriots. So you spent a year or 2 with Belichick and that whole Tom Brady crew. Like, what was the culture like while you were there? It
was incredible. That you know, I bounced around I think 4 or 5 other teams after that, but you know, they had Tom Brady, they had like Christian Fourier, Daniel Graham, Troy Brown, David Patton. You know, the O-line was incredible. Matt Light, Andruzzi, Dan Copen, just all incredible people. That's just on offense. Defense, Teddy Bruschi, Ty Law, Laurie Malloy, Willie McGinnis, Richard Seymour, Ted Johnson. I mean, just like grown up, do everything right, handle your business, watch film, help the young guys, take care of your body after practice. So I was blown away by the maturity level. You know, Mike Vrabel was on that team, Larry Izzo, just all-time character guys. That they made a point of bringing that type of player into their system, and it was like the pinnacle of what I've seen in football. Just that many good guys working their ass off together for a common goal in pro sports, which doesn't happen very often.
Is culture something that's like underrated when it comes to football?
I think so. I mean, I think that's a huge part of it. And you know this, but particularly in that league, if you can develop a culture in that league with all the turnover they have and new bodies and new faces and new coaches coming in that sticks, and you know, that type of locker room policing going on by the team, you're going to be successful. And that's what they've had, and they still have to this day because they got number 12.
Do you foresee Belichick staying around once Tom Brady retires?
I do not.
You think they're going to go out together?
What do you think?
I mean, I would think they would, just because I can't even envision the Patriots without Tom Brady, first off, let alone I can't envision Bill Belichick having the patience to handle not having Tom Brady.
I know. I mean, Tom Brady is unbelievable, and the things he does off the field with the team, and I mean, it's just he's as good as it gets, and he thinks he's going to play for 5 more years, so they still got a bunch of games to win, it looks like.
You've been to the Derby with him, haven't you?
I haven't been to the Derby with him. The last time I saw him was, I guess, last summer in the Bahamas. There was a wedding there, and I got to catch up with him.
Oh, were you playing in that basketball game with Jordan or whatever?
I got there after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would have been all time. I would have shut it down after that. But yeah, so it was the same island, same place, and his life's turned out pretty well. I always tell people he made a deal with the devil, man. No life lines up that perfectly.
For real.
Continues to do so. And you know, this year, because of the Deflategate, because of what happened, Super Bowl's in Houston. They're going to win it, and Goodell's going to have to hand him the MVP and the trophy, and it's just going to be an epic scene.
I mean, the amount of his competitiveness is so impressive to see. I've played against him. I've watched him play forever. You're right, man. Like, after he comes off, he finally gave in and said, all right, cool, whatever. I'm not fighting anymore. I'll take my 4 games. This is stupid. You guys are going to do this until I'm dead. You're going to keep coming after me. The amount of, like, anger and competitiveness that he's going to come out with week 5 is going to be a joke.
Oh, I know. I'm telling you, they poked the bear, man. It's going to be fun to watch. So
they already poked the bear a little bit over the last year and a half. Now they hit him with a bat and said, "All right, buddy," took off running.
Yeah, and he's going to be healthy. He's going to be fresh and healthy for those 12 games, and it'll be interesting to see. I think they'll be really good.
All right, I'm with you. Where did you stand with the whole Deflategate situation in the footballs and all that?
Having played on a bunch of different teams and now coaching, there's every team in the history of the world has done something with the footballs. I don't know if he did it or not, but you look at other teams that are warming them up with the heaters, they got like a fine. It's just, it doesn't make sense. The crime doesn't fit the punishment regardless. It's outrageous. I was a little bit surprised that more quarterbacks didn't come out and say, yeah, well, we do this, or we did this when I played. It didn't seem like there were a bunch that came to his aid. Did you kind of notice that?
I did. I watched that because it was something, you would look at. I think it's almost like the whole thing that it's the Patriots and people are almost like jealous of their success.
Right. That could be. I know that's how they feel.
Yeah. It goes back to your thing too. Like you said, he made a deal with the devil. Like, how does this line up? How does someone's life work out this good? Like what? Come on now. So people are like, fine. He can sit out 4 games.
All right.
But he's genius though. Him and his agent as well, because Tom's losing like $240,000 for those 4 games, or maybe, I don't even know, $500,000 because he put his base salary like at the league minimum, but it's all in bonuses in case he did get suspended, however they worked that out. I'm like, that's genius, man, because if he was making $20 million this year, this dude's losing millions for 4 games.
Well, with the Patriots, he ain't making $20 million. I think Bob Kraft's got him that offshore account somewhere funneling some sort of money, because that's the greatest bargain in the history of pro sports is what they get Tom for every year. It's unbelievable.
You're right, man. It really is. As far as the Deflategate, I can't believe it's still going on. I can't believe they came back after him. I don't even think it's a crime. I could care less. If the quarterback wants to literally deflate the ball to where it's like a little raisin and he can throw it around, who cares? Why is that cheating? He still has to throw the thing.
I've always thought that. And the NFL is so hard. And like the poor kickers, they have to kick them right out of, and those are awful footballs with all the sticky, slick. You got to snap them, hold them, kick them. I've never understood why that's a deal. Like, you think they want the product to be the best product it can be for the fans. Well, let's give the kickers great footballs. They can punt the heck out of it. They can kick it the way they want it. Let's give quarterbacks great balls where they can throw tight spirals, be accurate. I don't know, man. I've never understood why they're so hung up on not letting people break footballs in. Doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. And they do. Quarterbacks when football comes out of the box, just check it out for a chance. If anyone wants to see, you can buy authentic NFL footballs and you pull it out of the box and you can't even sign it like people try to get you to sign it with a Sharpie. It won't, because it has too much wax on it.
Isn't that the worst too? And you like jack up their whole football and you're mashing the Sharpie, trying to penetrate that film. I always feel bad. I'm like, this ain't going to work, but I'll do the best I can. And it looks awful. You just kind of hand it back and they're like,
you're right, man. It happens. Yeah, they won't believe you no matter what you tell them. Like, hey, man, this is gonna work. You need like a silver paint pen.
Just sign it. It's good. All right, just sign it, and you just mash as hard as you can mash. You just hand it back and just like scribble nothing. Yeah, I hate that scenario.
It's true. Yeah, as a quarterback, you have to get it out and like do something, scuff the ball up, throw it into the grass, do whatever, so you can actually grip it, because you can't throw it. If not, you can't grip the ball no matter how big your hands are.
And it's, you get in those playoff games, it's cold outside, you're playing up north. It has never made any sense to me why they won't let them get the balls exactly how they want.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be like a 100% pro Tom Brady here, right? I don't think he did anything wrong at all. And I definitely agree with him not turning his cell phone over to the league and to Goodell, because we all know no matter what, stuff will get leaked. Nothing is sacred. Nothing will be held to where they can say this isn't going to be made public. Yeah, right, man. Everything gets made public.
No doubt. My personal cell phone, I wouldn't turn over to anybody. Outside of the police who forced me to, just because that's my business. That's what's my life that goes on every day. Why would I ever allow anybody access into that? So, yeah, I don't think he owed that to anyone.
No, he shouldn't have, and I give him credit for not doing that. And that's probably the reason why he is serving 4 games, because they claim he didn't cooperate. But, Do you have a phone through the university?
I do. We have a work phone and a personal phone. Yeah.
So you have your own personal phone that you get
We're
separate account, right?
Yeah, we're a state school, so there's open records and things like that. And so if we ever had that, I wouldn't want my personal stuff, on a phone. So
wasn't it a basketball coach who got fired because he had pictures of his kids on his phone? Did you hear about that years ago?
Yeah, but
like 3 or 4 years ago, he got screwed, man. I think he had pictures of his kids just like and taking a bath, and his wife was in the picture or something. She wasn't in the bath, but she was like bathing the kids, and supposedly they acted like it was child porn or something. He's like, wait, these are my own kids taking a bath. And it got screwed up somehow.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't ever mix church and state when it comes to that stuff. So my work phone is strictly work.
Yeah, that's what I would. Nobody wants their text messages made public, especially out of context.
There's no doubt. Those can be spun a lot of different ways.
No, yeah. I've made the joke on here, I think. If you hand your phone over to me and your text messages can't make you look bad and don't offend anybody, then you're probably not a guy I want to hang out with.
That is a very true statement.
You're probably a pretty boring dude that doesn't have a lot to offer.
No doubt.
Man, one other thing, I'm gonna start to wrap this thing up. But the thing going into last season, I guess it would have been with Ohio State. They had two quarterbacks, basically three, with Braxton Miller before he switched to receiver. People said the old saying, like, well, if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Right. And I know now you guys are kind of have a solidified starter going into training camp. Do you ever feel like how do you handle when there is two guys vying for the job when no guy really does have the reins of the offense and the team yet?
Yeah, that's it's a good problem to have, but at the same time, having an established guy where the team knows he's your guy, he's the unquestioned leader, you can push all the reps towards him, you can make him your guy, you can build that confidence in him. That to me is ideal. You always want two really good ones, and in college it's hard to keep two on the roster because they want to play and they all transfer, and I get it. But I prefer having one that is separating himself, he's an outstanding player, and then having a very solid backup who maybe is 2 years younger, and you see him being the guy in the future. But that deal that Ohio State pulled off where they got to their third guy and he won a national championship, I thought, Tom Herman coaches now here in the state of Texas at University of Houston. I thought what a phenomenal job he did of being able to coach three guys to play at a championship level. And then I think last year it was hard on both those quarterbacks. Is you're looking over your shoulder if you throw an incompletion, the crowd starts chanting they want this guy or that guy. So I think it can make for a tough situation. But you always want quality quarterbacks on your roster, so it's kind of a 50-50 deal.
College is even different now with that, just because I think kids are so aware of who is there and who's in front of them that they're not going to go to a school where there may be a stud freshman quarterback. If you're a quarterback, I'm not going to play there for at least 2 or 3 years.
Right.
When I was coming out, I had no idea who was even on the roster when I came in.
I was the same way, and you didn't care. You were going to go to Ohio State because you loved Ohio State. I was going to go to Texas Tech because I love Texas Tech. And now, I mean, it is some serious analyzing going on before they make these decisions. So, I don't know. I love the kid that says, I don't care who you got, coach. I'm going to come compete. I'm going to have to compete anywhere. That's what you want to hear out of their mouth, but you don't always get that.
Now, with where are you at with guys graduating early and enrolling in the spring and taking part in spring ball? Do you encourage it?
I do. I've seen very positive results. That extra semester at some point is going to pay off. And it may not be that freshman year. That may not be enough time to get you prepped and ready to be a serious contributor that year. But, hey, that next spring, guess what? That's your second spring now, not your first. And that may be when it really kicks in. So the biggest example I use when I was at Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel had graduated earlier. I wasn't there yet, but he graduated early, so he had one spring. And so I got there for his second spring, and it wasn't like a freshman. You know what I mean? Like he got the school part of it. He had his swag. He understood what was going on, and so he really attacked his opportunity and was able to win. Be the first freshman to win a Heisman, a redshirt freshman to win a Heisman. And so I think if you can get a free semester of college paid for and you can develop your skills as a football player and as a student athlete, I think it's tremendous.
I guess I was always on the other side where I felt like you're missing out on your senior year. Like, I mean, I know they talk about, oh, he's not going to go to prom. I guess he could go back, but when I look back, who cares about your prom? But
I think kids. That's a good point. I honestly was of the same mindset until I got into coaching. I think kids are growing up a lot faster now, man. I mean, the social media, all the access, all the things they're seeing. Most of them, by the time they hit that spring semester, only bad stuff's going to happen on that high school campus or in and around that high school campus. So getting them up here into a more structured environment where now, they're having study hall, they're having advisors, they're in a dorm, they have coaches all over them, they have strength coaches. To me, it's been positive.
I can see that. I see your side of it for sure. And just to wrap it up about, you mentioned Johnny football. Like, when did everyone go from being like disappointed in his actions to actually now being worried? Because I've seen from a while now, I'm like, bro, we can't sit here and make fun of this dude anymore. Like, we need to be legit worried about him with what looks like what is going on with him. He's definitely got multiple issues, and substance abuse seems to be the biggest, and alcohol, whatever. I allegedly, I'm speaking out of turn because I don't know anything about him, but I feel like I'm worried for him. I'm not like mad or disappointed or think he's throwing it all away. We know that. We're way past that. Now It's like, what do we do? How do they help this dude?
Yeah, I think that's everybody's thing, is they just want to see him be healthy and happy. And it's not about football or, whether you think he wasted his talent or he didn't, or he can play or he can't. I think it's just, you see a young man who's dealt with a lot of access and a lot of fame and a lot of things that most people his age didn't deal with. And let's see if we can get him back on track and live a productive, happy life. And so as somebody who, worked with him, coached him, considers him a friend, I just want to see him be happy and healthy, and hopefully we can get there.
Do you ever think someone's going to win the Heisman twice like Archie did?
I do. I think it's coming.
Really?
I think it's coming. I think it'll be a quarterback. I don't know who, but I think with the spread offenses, the numbers people are putting up, I think a quarterback will do that twice. The running backs, I don't know running backs now. It just seems all these offenses are going the way of the spread. So I know we had a running back win it, I guess, last year, but other than Alabama, that's really the only team that is doing that.
Alabama seems to be one of the last, the last teams running kind of the pro-style offense too.
Stanford, that kid at Stanford, he's really good. He may win it this year.
You're right.
That can just line up and run the ball, 2 tight ends, 2 fullbacks, and have that much success.
True. McCaffrey, and then Bill Belichick's going to give him a call and draft that dude, and they're going to use him all over the field.
That's a great call. They want a smart, heady, tough, dynamic player like that. It'd be in the slot and play wildcat.
That's right. He's a coach in the field, right?
No doubt.
That's gonna be him. I love watching him play. But all right, Kliff, appreciate it, man. Where if you have any recruits or anyone, how do you want them to reach out to you and find you?
Just, I guess, hit me on Twitter, man. We'll figure that out.
We'll put your link at, what is it, TTU coach?
At TTU Kingsbury.
Gotcha. And you'll get right back to him. So if any 2-stars tweet you, don't worry about it. It'll take a couple of weeks, but a 5-star will get right back to you.
It's an equal opportunity around here.
I know. I'm joking. All right, man. Kliff, appreciate it, man. Always been a huge fan of you and what you've done, playing wise, and now you're coaching it. You're killing it, and you make it fun to watch Texas Tech play. So I'll be paying attention to you for sure and watching you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, I'll see you.
See ya.
We're glad you could join us for today's conversation. After you subscribe to the show, head over to thehawkcast.com or reach out to AJ directly on Twitter at @officialAJHawk to recommend future guests that will help us inspire people to keep talking. Thanks again, and we look forward to speaking with you next time on the HawkCast.